Three of my pet peeves all brought into one. Those three pet peeves are great big ridiculous wheels, ridiculous amount of camber, and that loud, obnoxious, shitty fucking glass pack exhaust system on a 4-cylinder. I just don't get that shit. I don't get it. I don't know why people are still doing it. The camber clearly wears out your fucking tires prematurely. On the inside, when you negatively camber stuff like that, and you just end up buying tires. It wears heavily on them on the inside, and you've got to buy these tires like within like not even 2 weeks. I give you a week and a half, depending on how far you travel each day with the fucking thing. I give you a week. Christ's sakes, come on, people. I was just sitting around here looking around on YouTube, and I saw that it's an old video. I saw it on there. Oh my god, that's some retarded shit right there. And people were so dumb they just keep doing it. Oh, let's do that. Hey, how about this? We, cut our lower control arm and extend it way out on the bottom. That's what they do. They'll extend that lower control arm, and they'll put a piece of metal in there. Some places they'll take it, and shops will do that shit, and they'll bring that way out, and then they'll weld this bar underneath there to connect their existing lower control arm. They'll put a piece of like square stock on their steel and weld it up. And it's quite retarded. And all it does is wear on your fucking tires prematurely. And now they have kits you can buy. Well, they probably had them for a while. They have kits you can buy to do this yourself. They make kits for these little Civics and all them. That is when, my hat's off for them trying to hot rod a little bit. But when you get like that, it's ridiculous. It's just dumb. It's just, you're setting yourself up for failure. I'm sure it was the same back in the 50s when they were taking cars from the 30s and 40s and 20s and ripping the fenders off of them, putting V8s in them and running them around. I'm sure people back then thought, oh, that's bullshit. You're going to beat the paint off the side of your car. Which, that's true. You rip the fenders off. There's big long running boards with fenders that all these cars back then had. Yeah, you take that off. It's over time it's going to wear on the paint a little bit. You're going to have paint wore off, but if you don't run them all the time, it takes a longer time. But this cambered thing is just ridiculous. And then with them dragging on the ground, they drag their pipes on the ground, drag holes in their exhaust, get stuck on curbs, get stuck on speed bumps. It's quite hilarious. Some of that shit has come around here. It's quite hilarious to watch them dumbasses, get hung up on things when they're trying to get around just normal places, and they get caught on things, caught on bumps in the road and shit. It's hilarious. I think it's quite fucking funny. But, you can't fix stupid. So, I don't really know what to tell you about that. Those are three of my pet peeves that I really, really hate. And, see what the fuck else I can dig up here. Another thing is when they put ridiculous fucking those dub wheels, what they call those dub cars, like the old Caprices and Crown Victorias. They put them like 35-inch wheels on them, and they put the lift kits on them and shit and make them sit real high. That's ridiculous too. That's another thing I'm not a big fan of. So, what is this?
It never saves anyone. Look at everybody, any natural disaster that's ever occurred on American soil. Americans save Americans always. If you're waiting for the government.
So, anyway, I don't really have much as far as that goes today. I don't really have much. I did a little bit of maintenance to my everyday car, my regular, because winter's coming up and all that bullshit. That'll be excellent. That'll be fantastic. And I cleaned a little bit of rust off my push bar on the front of my car, and then I cleaned off the brake booster on the Mercury because it was rusty as fuck. On them cars, I don't know why they do it, but on those cars, that tire, for some reason, on that side, throws shit right up on that thing. I mean, there's like debris that hits it that can get in between the frame and the inner fender and just flies up and hits it. And it's so filthy and dirty and shitty on that side. And it's on the driver's side. And I don't know how, because the same gap between the frame and the inner fender it's exactly the same on the passenger side, and it's not doing it over there. And I just can't figure it out. But like this winter when I run it, there, like previous winters, there's been salt and trash blow up and lay on that booster. And it looks like it's a treat to get the fucking bolts out of that son of a bitch. I'm not looking forward to having to put a booster on that. So I cleaned it all up with a wire wheel on my drill. There was a bracket that's bolted to the master cylinder. I took that off. It had a bunch of plug-in connections on it. I don't know why they built a bracket and hung it on there like that. I guess to keep it off the steering arm, I guess. And I wire wheeled it real good. Even that bracket. And I took, what was it? Rust-Oleum makes a leak sealer thing, like Flex Seal type stuff. And it's like it's a real rubbery, like rubberized undercoating, but it's a little thicker, and it's just massive coming out of a can. It just flies out of the can. It had the old nozzle plugged up because I used it on something else. I don't remember what else I used it on, but there was a good bit left. I had to switch nozzles off of something else, put on this can so it'd work. And when I sprayed that shit on there, it just coated that motherfucker. So I hope it lasts, because I can't be replacing master cylinders on that thing. They're so hard to get to the bolts. I have no fucking clue how you would even begin to get to the bolts that hold it to the firewall. I mean, it's in a hole back in there. You can't even reach around it. I had a hell of a time painting it and cleaning it to even get a wire wheel in around it to clean the shit. And I sprayed the bracket too, hooked the bracket back up. I sprayed the frame down there, and the strut tower in there, sprayed it down. The top of that strut, that like the keeper that's on top, it's real rusty on there, but some of that's aluminum in there. But aluminum will decay if salt gets on it. Salt will eat aluminum up too. Not as quickly, I don't think, as it does with steel. I could be wrong on that. I don't fucking know, but it looks like it flakes. It flakes away like pot metal, that cheap ass pot metal that they used to make. Uh, like the pieces that held spoilers up on cars from the '80s. Uh, they were made out of that stuff. They'd like rust, and they would break down and fall off in layers. I noticed they make a lot of those ends of them light bars on like the side by sides. Get them real long light bars for side by sides and Jeeps. They have the end caps are made out of that pot metal, and it's real cheap shit, and it decays real bad, and it like flakes off in layers, and by the time you're done with it, it's like paper thin holding shit up, so it falls apart like that. So uh my big lights on my push bar on my Mercury have that pot metal holding them together too. I cleaned them all up and painted those, painted the bar. I looked. I used some old color matched AC Delco paint. I didn't even know they made paint, but I found some and I bought it. A couple months back, I bought this stuff. It was on sale at a surplus store I go to, and I found a whole bunch of cans. It was like $1 a can. The cans are just little, but still was buck a can. So I bought like 6 cans, and I painted that bar with it. Real pretty blue. I'm a sucker for blue paint. I love blue, and it was a nice metallic, like blue color. And I think it's yeah, it's AC Delco paint. Yeah, it's I ain't never seen shit like that before. But when I seen it and it was real cheap, I was like, fuck it, we're gonna buy it. The hell with it. So I guess yeah, that's what we'll use. I'm gonna use it on the floor of the truck, the other truck outside, and we're gonna paint the floor and then put some signs and stuff on the floor of it and lay some plates and all that shit. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. I ain't did a cold start for a while. Figured I'd do one for everybody. How the hell does this thing? There it goes. Get my tripod out. My tripod. Yeah, baby. All right. Yeah. A pile of mess on the floor that I, there's all the rust I cleaned off from the mercury. So it was not that right there. With the little rust on the floor right here. Right here. This is just collecting transmission fluid. And this is just dirt that I drag in here. But anyway, my truck outside sunbathing today. My skeleton friend's in the bed, getting some sun. He's really, really white. He needs to tan up for the winter. But I noticed one thing, the dollar store has Christmas shit out already. Fucking Christmas shit. It ain't even the end of fucking September. They got motherfucking Christmas shit up already. I don't know about you all, but this shit's going way too fast. It seems like I just got away from wintertime and now it's back. That's not back yet, but it's going to be. I've seen some of the leaves are starting to change on the fucking trees already. God, I hate fucking fall. It isn't really quite fall yet, but this morning it was 30, 35, 34, 35 degrees here this morning. Right when the sun was coming up. Had to let my crazy ass fucking dog outside. And, yeah. It was pretty nipply out. Wasn't too bad. It was kind of like on the warmer side. It wasn't real bad, but bad enough to make all the dew turn into fucking ice. So, but anything that wasn't touching the ground that was metal had dew on it turned to ice. So, yeah, I was like, yeah. Like, oh, watch out for the first frost. Well, I think we done had it. So, all right, everybody. That's all I got for you. Sorry, couldn't be more exciting. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. There's a thing coming up called Autumn Glory. It's in Oakland. They have a big car show that's part of that. Thing is, it's on a Sunday. I fucking hate going to car shows on Sundays. I really hate it. I'd rather go to them on Saturdays because you have more time to fuck around. And you're up there, you're kind of grumpy. You're knowing you got to go the fuck back to work tomorrow. And it's like, fuck. I can't really enjoy myself up here. And, there'll be a lot of nice cars there. There'll be some different cars there. So I don't know if I'm going to go to that or not. I might go. Take the Chevelle and go. It's not that far of a drive. About 40 minutes for me. It's not too bad. It's not that bad of a drive, so no dirt on me. But we were messing with the GTO today, trying to get the speedometer cable in it. That was a failed attempt right there. Pontiac put that fucking speedometer in that car, or the speedometer cable. They were the ones that put it in, and we hooked it up down there at the transmission because for some reason I had to have an extension piece on that car. I don't know why. I don't know what the deal was back then, but on the Chevy Caprices from the 80s, they had extensions on them too. but they were underneath the hood right there at the firewall. But for some reason, this car has an extension, and it's not very. It's not even a foot long extension, and we tried to remove it from up under the dash and the steering column. It's just right on top of the steering column, and you can't get your fucking hands up in there. It's so tight under the dash of that car. You can't get your fucking hand up in there. So instead of cussing and raising hell and bitching about it, we just quit. Said fuck it. He connected it down there where it's connected, and it won't hook up. I think it slipped out of the speedometer itself. The cable has moved back out of it, and it's just not catching because they're kind of square. The cable has square ends on it, so you can put it in there. It's you're putting a square thing in a square hole, just like down on the transmission. That's how it is too, and it's got like a keeper that holds it in there. You thread it on, and then there's a little tin keeper that bolts the transmission that goes on. It's like a fork, sticks over it. I got bees in here. There, he's leaving. Good son of a bitch. Anyway, but it's slipped out of the speedometer enough to where it won't register. So he was pissed off about that. He wants it to work. He just wants to work. It hasn't worked since the 80s. So he wanted to get it working again. And I told him, I was like, I wouldn't worry about it. Just drive the fucking car. Who cares? Mine gets noisy. My speedometer is very noisy in the Chevelle. The cable just screams when it's cold out and I drive it up the road. Like when it's in like the 40s. When it's in the 40 degrees around that range. Or low 50s. It has that screech to it. If you look in my other videos, some of my ride-alongs around the spring or the fall, you will hear it. Because it's a whore like that. It does it. And I would rather just unhook it and put zip ties on it underneath the car and hang it up and say fuck it and not worry about the speed. And if I need to check my speed, I can always get on my MapQuest on my GPS on my phone, and it'll tell me how fast I'm going. So a lot of you old folks out there don't know that. A lot of you 65 and older folks don't know that information. So there you go. You can learn something new at your old age. So all right, everybody, I'm going to wrap this one up. And I really ain't got nothing else for you. Finally got our Fridays back at work, so I have a little more money to work on some things. Buy groceries and pay my bills, and I'm spent. I'm done. I can barely buy gas to get back and forth to work through the week. It's getting rough, getting real bad. So I'm gonna throw my political weight at you and tell you if you're going to vote for that idiot moron that we have in there next year again, you're stupid. Because this guy here, he needs kicked out of there in the worst way. We need to get rid of him. We need to get him out of there. Because anybody that's got any common sense about him is going to, that knows anything about anything, can see that he's a moron. And he isn't running the country. I truly think Barack Obama is running the country and pulling Biden's puppet strings. That's my personal opinion. I mean, I don't know that for a fact. I can't sit here and say, but it all adds up clearly to me. The way I see it and the way I'm collecting information and what I see before my very eyes tells me this. To my mind, there's somebody, it couldn't be Obama, maybe. It could be somebody else. It could be one of the top richest people on the planet could be running a country into the ground for a reason. But I can't get into that. I don't have any facts on that. I can't tell you that it's true. All I can tell you is what I see and then what information my brain puts together, and then it runs out of my mouth. So it's just my opinion. You can tout your opinion in the comments if you want to on the matter. If you want to, I will read it. Whether you agree with me or not, I will read it because, like I said, that's what makes our country so great. We can all agree to disagree. So if you have an opinion about something else, if you think that guy's a good president, good for you. I'm going to disagree with you. He's very awful. We need our guy back in there. So I'm still not in bed with the other fella, but I am close to grabbing the covers. Let's put it that way. But I will definitely have my vote. Donald Trump will definitely have my vote here in 24 if they don't try to throw him in jail, which they're trying to right now. Which, that's against our Constitution, trying to jail your political opponents. So you can't do that. That's horseshit. That's against the principles of the country and what we stand for. So, all right, everybody. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you all in the next one. Like, share, comment, and subscribe, please. Subscribe, please. Please. I'm almost to 500, please. All right. See y'all later.